How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to another video. You join me in a motorway services car park somewhere just south of Sheffield because that red thing, well, you can't see it. Yes, you can. There it is. That red box there, the bike box Allen that I just came to pick up. I've chosen to do this all in one hit because fuel and everything else prices. I couldn't justify like coming up here like on one day by itself, so instead I'm weaving it into this weekend's hill climb. So the hill climb this week is on a Saturday instead of a Sunday. It's just north of Cheltenham, so I'm driving down there now, which is going to take me 2.5 hours. Then I'm going to get a little ride in and hopefully see this climb that everyone keeps talking about called Bushcombe Lane, which is apparently very steep. So this hill climb series this year just seems to be me doing climbs that I completely dislike.
Okay, so I don't know if you can see that, but this is literally my pre-race ride today. 2 hills just there and the rest of it's flat. So that's repeats of the race hill, so let's go and see what it's all about. Oh, hello. Here we go. I was warned about it last weekend by a bunch of people, a bunch of competitors actually, that it was going to be, it's a very hard hill, and if it was wet, which thankfully it's going to be dry tomorrow, it would be impossible to ride up, or at least be very difficult. And rules state, I think, that if you do put a foot down on the road during the climb, as in if say your wheel spins and you have to put your foot down, you're disqualified. I've just spotted something on this sign which I didn't see until I got close to it, but it says first rider at 10:01 featuring feather Laverack illegale. As if the locals are going to know who we are. Like, I had this really cute idea of filming my impressions as we go up, but somehow I feel like I'm going to be put in my place really quickly and I'll have to resort to shoving the GoPro in my mouth. Okay. So in my my autobiography, I think the opening line is going to be something like, say that Ed never shied away from facing his fears or things he's not very good at. I'm stood probably about 100 meters from the top. The top is up there. There's like a little brow, but all of this is under trees and it's pretty dense, and as you can see there, it's all shadow. So I'm probably actually going to run my wet weather tire on the back, which is sacrificing a little bit of weight, but it might mean I get a bit more traction, particularly as it comes right at the end. So I might be a little bit all over the place, and the last thing I want to do is like get a wheel spin, be going so slow that I then have to fall off or something. Hutchinson Fusion 5 all season 28, so rather than being like really lightweight, of course, they weigh a little bit more. They got a bit more wet weather stability in them, and they allow me to run obviously slightly lower pressure. So I'll still go for a fast front wheel, I'll still go for a race wheel, lightweight race wheel, and tire setup. At the end of the day, like, I'm going to be struggling anyway, so why make things worse for myself than they already are. I've got to show you this bit, but I don't really know how I'm going to. Like, so I was told that this climb has some potholes and is cracked in places. It definitely is. I mean, when the climb is this steep, the road is always going to be weather down. So like up here, we have some fairly big holes and some cracked tarmac, and just around this corner is even more, and this is the steepest part of the climb. So I kind of want to be able to pick my line. I don't want to be having to like panic tomorrow in the morning, like trying to find out where I want to go. And then you get to the top and you get beautiful views. So that climb does strike a bit of fear into me, I'm not gonna lie. but at least it's so steep that I can't sit in the saddle. That's not happening, so I will have to be out the saddle for at least that last bit. I can't see me riding in the saddle. I just tried it, wasn't working. I know I'm going to be doing a fair bit more power, but like I'm gonna have to be out the saddle. Okay, second time on the climb, and now I'm gonna put the GoPro in my mouth for your viewing pleasure. The things I do for you viewers, you better hit that like button. I really rate riding around here, by the way, if you ever fancy bringing your bike here. Scenery is lovely, some decent cafes I've been told, and this isn't the only savage hill. There's like a trio right here, which I'm definitely not going to do, but thank you to those of you that message me in advance to tell me to do them. I won't be doing them. So recon ride complete. I now have the climb in my brain. It's obviously going to pay off. It's going to be horrendous tomorrow, and that's why we look forward to it. Do you know that hands down my favorite thing to do on my bike is to explore? And you know, even when I was a pro and I was riding around and I was getting paid to sort of go and, you know, race my bike all over the world, like that was amazing, like being able to travel and race my bike. And now I still get to do it, but with a bit more flexibility and having to, like, it doesn't have to be around the world, but it can just be in the UK as well. I just love exploring. I love being on two wheels. I love riding my bike and getting to a place where I have the freedom to do that. I'm just very grateful for. I don't know why I'm saying that now. I just, yeah, just having a moment. Well, that's really thoughtful of them. Or was it a sabotage? Maybe one of my competitors have tipped them off them staying here, so they've left me toffees. Right. Time to edit yesterday's video, which will go out when you're watching this. So Saturday, it'll go out Saturday. So I try to get a video out every week that is basically like a very like loose vloggy style video. Try and cram this in before I can relax for the evening, and then, well, yeah, I will be relaxing because I woke up at 5 this morning, so 6.5 hours driving today in total. Plus my diet's not been great, lots of processed stuff. Well, that always happens when you're on the road, doesn't it? So relax, get my legs up this evening, catch up with the Junior World Championships, and then obviously race tomorrow.
Well, I slept like a baby after that big travel day yesterday, and I'm very, very hungry. So even though I ate a lot yesterday, sometimes you don't realise when you're driving all day, like, obviously you struggle to eat as much when you're on the road. Okay, so nutrition today, because the race starts at, well, my kickoff time is 11 o'clock, give or take a couple of minutes. So I'm having 2 tins of rice pudding, which is about 120 carb, I now own shares in Tesco Stockwell rice pudding, by the way. So I do have an emergency porridge pot that I bought that I'm now going to bring with me to most hill climbs. But that is virtually like all I eat in terms of like a main meal. Because, you know, when you're staying in a hotel, unless you book like hotel breakfast and stuff, which tends to be hit and miss most of the time, it's easier to be in charge of what you eat and bring your own stuff than anything else. I learned that when I was racing. You're just in control. So I also have dates with me. You can never go wrong with dates. That's obviously like snack wise, so that as we get close to the time, if by any chance I need something else, which yeah, I tend to need other things, I do admit, well, that's all I have. But anyway, that will see me until 11 o'clock anyway, until the race. I didn't bring any gels with me this week, so Jaffa cakes I'm gonna have to step in as a substitute. So then after the race, I'm pretty much like hungry straight away, so I go and grab something to eat, obviously on the drive back. So that is how eating arrangements are planned on race day. Oh, what a lovely morning. So I'm 3 weeks into my hill climb season now, and I wouldn't say things are getting any like less nervous. I'm still like, you know, when I show up to the event, I'm still nervous. I'm still like apprehensive about like the effort that I have to do, and you know, the climb itself, like trying to get it right, because you only have one shot at getting it right. Plus, you know, it's a max effort as well, so it's nerve-wracking because you have to give it everything. If you've been following the last couple of weeks, you'll know that I've been coming first and second. I've come second place twice to Mr. Feather, and today Feather's on the start sheet again. Now today we're up against each other again, but there's a few other riders here that could come into play. The significant bit is that Feather is starting 1 minute behind me. So when he sees me set off up the climb, he will actually see my bum wriggle away from him on the first section of the climb. So I hope that I don't get caught by it, because that would be horrendous, and that would be a terrible situation. But it's added motivation, so I'll use it. I'll see it like that. I'll see it as added motivation. After seeing it yesterday, I know there's like a lot of things that can go wrong, given how steep it is, so I'm just gonna give it everything. It's a fully closed road, so I'm hoping that there's going to be some people on there to cheer us on, because if there is, that would be a massive boost, particularly the last bit. Oh, I've just made a little bit of a discovery. So today's hill climb doesn't actually finish at the top of that steep bit. It finishes slightly over the top, and although the graph says it's still climbing, I know that when we went over the top, it did level off. I just need to invest really heavily in that first section. So today's hill climb probably reaps rewards if you positive split it. So if you go harder at the start than you would do at the end. Well, the great thing about around here is you've got a climb literally right next to the one we're racing on that is virtually identical in terms of gradient, so I'm going to use that to warm up and get some pain faces on in my warm up. So my analysis videos have been going down well. Thank you so much all for watching. This one should be a good one. I quite like doing the analysis videos because they're like a good learning tool between like me on event day, when I'm saying like, oh, I'm going to do this, this and this, and then post event by a couple of days I'm like, oh, that was complete rubbish, like this is what I should have done. Or now that I know we're using the whole climb, is to actually like ride hard in the saddle at the beginning, and then at the steep bit which is probably going to take like probably half of the climb in total, like 2.5 to 3 minutes. I'm banking on this whole climb taking about 5, so about 2.5 to 3 minutes I'll spend on the really steep section. That's when I'm going to be out of the saddle. I'm going to kill myself. I'm going to absolutely drill it into the ground, and then as we crest that and it flattens off, I'm just going to like sit down and like just try and get whatever I can out to the finish line. So that is my very, very rough tactic. Power wise, I don't think I can afford to ride it off power. I think I just have to ride this one off feel, because we are learning every week doing these sort of hill climbs, these short and steep ones.
Go on, Eddie! Come on, Ed! Get in there, Ed! Well done, son! Get up there!
So Cam Biddle pipped me for second place this week, and I finished third, so still not good enough, but still got to be positive that we have work to do and we're moving in the right direction. So still only like 15 seconds down on the win, which was Andy again. And only 3 seconds off second place, so it's not moving. The goalposts aren't moving further away, which is good. I rode a fantastic hill climb. I got to the end and I thought for sure that like I've done the best ride that I could have, without actually knowing, you know, actually power wise, like where and when I put down the power. I was definitely, I paced it really well, and I was out the saddle virtually all the way on the steep bit. I was spurred on by the incredible support. The fans were just immense on the climb. But the good thing is though, because I am pushing like personal best power now, that's all I have to do is make sure that my weight either stays as it is and I get stronger, or my weight drops and I maintain power. So it's one of two things. But I'm optimistic that with 6.5, 7 weeks, 6 weeks, something like that, until the Nationals, 5 weeks, that we're still heading in the right direction. And even, you know, even someone like myself who's like in with a shout of actually winning, you know, in peak shape or podium at the very least, in my opinion, I'm still really hard on myself, because, you know, you've got that on the line. So, you know, it doesn't matter where you come, really. You're always hard on yourself. You're always critical of yourself, and like, you know, that you can always do better or always improve in some way, shape or form. So it's just good that today was a really good sign that my power is like substantial. It's good. My technique is good. When the climb is out of the saddle and I've got no choice, then I can kind of pull something out the bag. So I'm going to take nothing but positives from this one, and know that, you know, with a good few weeks to go, and with some, you know, some changes to the bike as well after my trip to Croatia, then, you know, we're going to be knocking on the door. Got to be optimistic. Got to keep the hope. So my prize for third place, I have a new pump. The more I think about that ride, the more impressed I am by my own ride, if I'm being honest. I know I don't say that very often, but yeah, I'm actually very happy with that, and knowing that the analysis video is going to be decent, so keep an eye on that. That's going to be coming on the channel in a couple of days as well. Word as well to like running a slightly heavier setup. So I rode a training wheel on the back with 28mm tyre, with a slightly lower PSI and a bit more tread in case it was wet. It turned out that it wasn't wet at the top where it was yesterday, so it dried out, but there was a couple of moments where I went through a bit of gravel. Like I was able to actually choose my line like a lot better knowing that I had more confidence. And people who do hill climbs, you guys are so into it, because like you pick up on these things, like you're like, God, you're running a 28mm tire on the back. I was like, yeah. So like it's cool at the finish when we all sort of, you know, chat and like mingle, how you know, people are like, oh, so what's he running over there, what's she doing, and it's really funny but also really cool at the same time. So yeah, that is a wrap on this weekend, on this video. Thanks for watching, everybody. Thank you for the support as always, and I will see you in the next video.